Well, after the green and white revolutions in India, it's time for the blue revolution to exploit the huge potential in the fisheries sector. In fact, the government too has sharpened focus on development of this industry. India has been one of the biggest exporters of seafood in the world. Seafood exports, in fact, have been gradually increasing from $3.5 billion in FY12 to $6.8 billion in FY20. And out of the total seafood exports, it's frozen shrimp that contributes the most. Share of frozen shrimp, in fact, was 73% of the total exports in FY20, and it is a sharp increase from 50% levels that we saw in FY12. In the world, in fact, India, Ecuador and Vietnam, they account for 55% of the global shrimp sales. The biggest seafood export market for India is the USA, where 38% of the total export happens. This is followed by China, EU, countries in the Southeast Asia, and then Japan. So let's understand the value chain of the entire shrimp feed segment, which starts with a hatchery, which is a place for artificial breeding, egg hatching, and rearing across the early life stages. This raw shrimp is then sent for farming, where they are reared in ponds for growth. This process usually takes 60 to 120 days. For growth, these raw shrimp are provided with feeds. So this is where companies like Avanti Feeds and Waterbase play a role. In the listed space, these two companies produce the shrimp feed. The grown shrimp is then sent to the processing houses, where they are cleaned, packed for exports. Apex Frozen Foods comes into the picture here. They produce and export processed and ready-to-cook shrimp in India. So if the exports are higher, it is positive for this company. Let's take a look at the shrimp feed segment. The key raw materials for shrimp feed are soy meal, wheat and fish meal. While wheat and fish meal prices are stable, soy meal prices are up around 60% in last few months. Usually, Avanti Feeds does take a price increase in case of high raw material, but it has not been done this time for the benefit of farmers. Hence, there could be some margin pressure for shrimp feed manufacturers in the first half of this year. Now, let's talk about the exports. In calendar year 2020, exports declined 23% due to subdued demand, logistical issues, all because of COVID. But post 12 months of decline, Indian marine exports grew 41% on a YY basis in March, and shrimp export is a big part of it. Additionally, demand from US and UK is coming back as those economies have reopened, and hence, CRISIL expects a 20% increase in shrimp exports in this year itself. The Farmgate prices, which is the final market value of a product minus the selling cost, is seasonal. It was declining till May as harvest season had started, but it is now up and steady, and if they increase further, it will be a big positive for this sector. The central government's recent announcement of production-linked incentive scheme for the food processing sector, which also includes value-added shrimps, this should improve India's share of exports this year. And Equirus expects Avanti and Apex, who are already looking for expansion, to make the most of it. However, ROTTEP rates for the industry applicable from the 1st of January have still not been announced by the government, and this remains a major overhang on the sector.